Warning: this material contains content suitable only for those 18 years of age or older. It is crucial to understand that every chapter in this narrative is a product of imagination and holds no basis in reality. So this is our workout area where the majority of the gym's income comes from. As you can see, we have many different machines, Mia explained to Dean. Nodding, Dean followed closely behind Mia around the gym as she gave him a tour. Walking towards the locker rooms now, Mia spoke. Here we have the locker room. Unfortunately, we don't have one for men, so you'll have to use the bathroom to change and whatnot. That's fine. It is a women's-only gym after all. What this over here? Dean asked, pointing to a door adjacent to the locker room. A look of relaxation crossed Mia's face as she spoke. That is our communal bathhouse. It's very popular. Some women have memberships to the gym solely to gain access to it. Like the locker room, it's for women only. Maybe I can use this in some way to gain clients, Dean thought, imagining some ways to peep on bathing women. Ah, that's too bad. Thank you for showing me around. Now, did you want to become my first client? Dean asked with a friendly tone. Absolutely. I'll be in your care, instructor, Mia replied with enthusiasm. Then let's go. Is this good, instructor? Mia asked as she held her foot above her head. Snap. Yes, yes. Now hold this position while I inspect your muscles, Instructor Dean said while snapping and placing his hands on Mia's thighs. Squeezing and caressing them, Dean suddenly had an idea. I should be able to get an achievement from this. Putting on a face of concern, he spoke. Oh no, this isn't good. With a confused look, Mia asked, What is it, instructor? Attempting to muster up his best acting skills, Dean said, I think there is a problem with your vaginal muscles. It's negatively affecting your range of motion. I'll have to get a closer look to make sure. Mia's expression turned to that of worry as she hastily took off her leggings and presented herself to Dean. Here you go, instructor. Please make sure I'm okay, Mia said, looking very provocative. You never cease to amaze me with your antics, Lisa said while Dean closed in on the blonde. Am I still a fool? Dean asked as he put on an evaluating expression. Looking intently at her pussy, Dean suddenly put his hand on it, spreading it open. Mia sounded out, surprised at Dean's touch but not protesting. After some more seconds of bullshit inspecting, Dean said, It looks like the problem lies within your vaginal canal. This might have something to do with... Are you sexually active? Looking a little shy, Mia replied. I haven't been since my freshman year of college. Knitting his eyebrows, Dean spoke. This could be the root of your problem. If the muscles aren't used regularly, it's possible they can weaken, causing reduced mobility. I'm afraid I'm going to have to massage it with my fingers if that's okay. With an expression of appreciation, Mia nodded frantically and said, Yes, if you would please. I can't let something like this affect my fitness. Dean put on a confident smile and said, Don't worry. With me here, you'll be just fine. He then stuck one of his fingers in the opening, causing Mia to let out an eek. This is definitely a funny feeling, but I think I can fit another one in, Dean thought as he stuck another finger in her hole. When he did this, he heard Mia breathing heavily and some juices started to flow out of her. Smirking at her reaction, Dean began to stick his fingers in deeper and pulling them out quickly, while massaging her clit with his other hand. I don't really know what I'm doing, so hopefully my years of porn watching will guide me here. You aren't doing bad, actually. Perhaps you're a natural finger blaster, Lisa observed. Smiling, Dean sped up, causing Mia's pussy to release wet slopping sounds. She moaned out as she reached climax. Noticing her getting closer to an orgasm, Dean kept his pace and rubbed her clit with increasing speed. Squirt. A clear liquid suddenly squirted out of Mia's pussy, covering the mat and floor with her juices. She released a loud moan as this happened and fell backwards, lightly spasming. A squirter? I wasn't expecting that, Dean thought as his hands and arms were coated in a watery substance. Standing up, he spoke to the recovering Mia still sprawled on the ground. It seems I was able to remedy the cause of your weakness for now. But to be safe, I'll check up on it every session. Make sure to clean up before you leave. Huh. Through labored breaths, Mia replied. Yes, breath, instructor. Thank you. Giving her a kind smile, Dean turned and left the yoga room. Maybe I am a natural. As he exited, a pink and blue transparent screen appeared in front of him. Task complete, Finger Blaster. Finger a woman. 200 manipulation points have been added to your status. Task complete, Love Juices. Cause a girl to squirt. 200 manipulation points have been added to your status. Task complete, Watch It. Have a woman squirt on you. 100 manipulation points have been added to your status. Really? 3 achievements just for that? This ability is a walk in the park, Dean thought. It's only easy because you are just starting out. These are just basic sex achievements. They get much more niche and obscure the more you complete. Lisa enlightened. I thought as much, but with as smart as I am, it's still going to be easy, Dean thought with sarcasm. Fool. With his first day of work complete, Dean headed back to the apartment complex. Arriving at the front lobby, he didn't see Jenny at the clerical desk. Her shift must be over. I was hoping to mess with her a bit. Not wasting another minute, Dean walked back into his apartment and hopped onto his bed, eager to inspect the changes to his status. Dean Fool. Age 24. Manipulation points. 800. Quests completed. 1. Money. $314. Minds altered. 4. 800 manipulation points? Not bad at all, Dean thought. Getting points was much easier now than it was just a few days ago. I also have a somewhat stable source of income, so rent shouldn't be a problem. Now I just have to earn more money by acquiring some clients. Did you have anything in mind? Lisa inquired, curious as to what creative solution Dean would come up with. Of course I do. Dean stopped as he heard something. Knock, knock. Who would be knocking on my door at this time? He thought while running to the front of his apartment. Opening the door, he saw a stunning silver-haired woman wearing business casual attire. Jenny, what are you doing here? Wait. How did you find my apartment? Dean asked, realizing he never showed her where it was. However, she didn't answer immediately as she leaned in for a kiss. Oh, I almost forgot about that change, Dean thought as he savored the sweet taste of Jenny's lips. Backing away, Jenny started curling her hair and said cutely, I looked it up on the clerical computer, but that's not important right now. What did you mean when you said we weren't a couple this morning? I thought that when you have sex with someone, you have to marry them. How naive. You got yourself a good one, someone just as dumb as you, Lisa observed. Ignoring her, Dean thought for a moment about how to approach this. Wow, she seems to genuinely think you have to marry the first person you have sex with. I have no idea why, though. Now the question is, should I date her, or let her down lightly? After a second to ponder, Dean made his decision and spoke. Well, Jenny, I suppose this is something we are going to have to discuss. Please, come inside, Dean said while beckoning her in. With an expression of confusion, Jenny stepped into Dean's apartment and followed him to the bedroom. Entering, Dean said, Have a seat. There is something I must explain. Curiosity and worry crossed the big-breasted beauty's face as she sat on Dean's bed. What's wrong? Jenny asked. Sigh. Letting out a loud sigh, Dean began spouting his usual bullshit. The reason I didn't consider us a couple is, well, I often see other people. Knitting her eyebrows, Jenny asked for clarification. What do you mean? Well, I'm someone who doesn't like to be tied down to just one partner. As such, you aren't the only woman I'm going to have sex with if we are in a relationship. I wasn't sure if you'd be comfortable with something like that, so I didn't consider us a couple. Jenny, upon hearing this, lowered her head. Noticing her downtrodden expression, Dean spoke again. But of course, if you are okay with me seeing multiple people, I'd be happy to go out with you. However, you yourself cannot see anyone other than me. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't align with my principles. Looking up with anger, Jenny suddenly burst out. How does that make any sense? I love you, I just want us to be together. No one else. However, before she could get any more heated, Dean changed something. It's only common sense for Jenny to be okay with me seeing other people. You have to be accepting of those you love after all. Ding. Jenny's expression suddenly changed. She no longer looked so distraught, and she spoke up. I don't know what came over me. I guess I forgot that it's normal to be accepting of those you love. I'm sorry. Putting on a smile, Dean approached Jenny and hugged her. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. After a brief moment of embrace, Dean backed away and asked, So, let me ask you, Jenny, will you be my girlfriend? Jenny's expression quickly shifted into one of happiness as she shot forward into Dean's arm. Yes, I love you, Dean. Letting out an amused chuckle, Dean said, I love you too, Jenny. The new couple stood for a moment, basking in their new partner's warmth. After their embrace, Dean broke away and spoke. Jenny, or should I say babe, would you like to go on a date tonight? Her eyes lighting up, Jenny replied enthusiastically. Absolutely. Where are we going to go? I recently heard about a new romance movie that was pretty good. Want to go to the theater and watch it? He asked. Smiling, Jenny agreed, and after some more planning, left to go get ready. Back by himself, Dean had a pink and blue screen appear in front of him once more. Task complete, first girlfriend. Get yourself a girlfriend for the first time. 300 manipulation points have been added to your status. First girlfriend, huh? This only marks the beginning of my harem, he thought while rubbing his hands together with an evil grin. God, you are such a fool, Lisa said when Dean did this. A couple of hours later, Dean found himself waiting in the front lobby. He was once again wearing his purple button-up shirt and pants, not giving any mind to Lisa's insults about his choice of style. I'm telling you, if she didn't have her common sense manipulated, Jenny would think you look like a bag of ass. Well, I guess we'll never know, but... Dean's thoughts were cut short as he laid eyes on Jenny's curvy figure entering the lobby. She wore another sundress, however this time it was yellow, contrasting greatly with her silver hair. Her face had plenty of makeup, and her eyes had cute little earrings hanging off them. Best of all was her hair, which was recently curled, giving it a fluffy look. How the hell did I pull her? Dean thought before embracing Jenny and giving her a deep kiss. After their kiss, Dean said to Jenny, You look gorgeous. Smiling, Jenny replied while looking down. Thanks. Noticing she didn't compliment him back, Dean simply turned and walked with her out of the apartment complex. She must not find me attractive. Yet she is in love with me. What an odd situation, he thought. Indeed. Maybe if you actually worked on yourself instead of having sex with women, you'd be better looking, Lisa said. Frowning, Dean thought. Perhaps I will start my own little self-improvement program, but for now, it is normal for Jenny to think I am the most attractive person in the world. Ding. As they were walking, Jenny took a quick look at Dean before her eyes widened. J. Dean? She asked in surprise. Turning and looking at her with a loving smile, Dean said, Yes? Shaking her head and continuing to walk, Jenny spoke. Nothing. You just look very attractive. With a confident smirk, Dean didn't reply and continued walking to their destination. Arriving at the movie theater, Jenny and Dean found themselves waiting in line for popcorn and drinks. What do you think the movie is about? Jenny asked. I'm not really sure, but I do know that it is a romance. That gives me an idea, though, Dean said. With a curious tone, Jenny asked, What idea? Grinning, Dean spoke his mind. I think it would be fun if we kissed every time they do in the movie. It would make our date a little more interesting than just sitting there in silence. Biting her lip, Jenny moved closer and whispered in Dean's ear. But your kisses arouse me. If we kissed during the whole movie, I might... That's the point. Can't have fun without a little risk, right, babe? Dean said with a grin. Hearing him call her babe. Jenny reluctantly nodded. It seems this date was going to be very interesting, After getting their popcorn and drinks, the couple entered the theater and grabbed their seats. The room was large but relatively empty. Only around 20 other people were in the theater, and none of them were sat close to Dean and Jenny. Making themselves comfortable, Dean and Jenny waited for the commercials to end and the movie to start. As the movie started, Dean turned and spoke to Jenny. "If you don't come by the end of the movie, I'll do any one thing you ask of me." "You are something else, fool. How do you even think of all this shit?" Lisa said. Ignoring her, Dean put his hand on Jenny's chin and looked deeply into her eyes. Looking back with lust, Jenny agreed. Oh, okay, but I can really ask you to do anything?" Smiling, Dean said, "Yes, anything." With a determined look, Jenny resolved herself. "I can do this. As long as I don't come, I can ask him to marry me." However, just as she had this thought, the characters in the movie kissed, prompting Dean to do the same to Jenny. Planting a deep kiss on his girlfriend's lips, Dean backed off, leaving a flustered Jenny to contemplate their deal. I don't know if I can do this, I'm already wet," she thought, feeling her pussy through her clothes. Dean smirked as he saw this, before yet another kissing scene happened. "Shit," Jenny thought as she locked lips with Dean. "I'm already so close and we've only just started." About an hour later, Jenny could barely keep herself from falling out of the seat. Her breathing was ragged and her panties had long been soaked through. Her voice barely audible, she pleaded quietly. "Please, Dean, I can't take it. Don't kiss me anymore." Looking at her with amusement, Dean thought to himself, "She is so fun to mess with. Her reactions to everything are so cute and turn me on so much. I wish I could just fuck her right now. But this will have to suffice." "Okay, babe, I won't kiss you anymore. Let's just enjoy the movie," he said with a kind smile. Letting out a sigh of relief, Jenny thought, "Thank God. I don't even know how many times I've came. I thought I was going to lose my mind there." But just as she finished thinking, she felt something reach under her dress. "Dean, what are you doing?" she asked in alarm. But Dean's hand was already pushing past her panties and snaking its way into her pussy. Jenny moaned out but covered her mouth, not wanting to alert the other people in the theater. "She is absolutely drenched. My hand is covered in her juices already," Dean thought as he fingered Jenny. The silver-haired woman squirmed and made muffled moans as Dean fingered her, struggling to keep herself from coming. "Ah!" Jenny finally moaned out, this time without attempting to stop herself. Her body spasmed as she slumped into her seat, completely exhausted from the constant orgasms. Looking around, Dean made sure no one caught on to their acts. Thankfully, it seemed like everyone was still paying attention to the movie, paying no heed to the couple's sexual acts. "If you aren't more careful next time, I'm afraid you are going to get arrested," Lisa warned. "Yeah, but where's the fun in that?" Dean replied. "Torturing a woman in public like this has always been one of my fantasies." "Just be careful, fool." After his short conversation with the annoying voice in his head, Dean saw a pink and blue screen appear in his vision. "Task complete, be quiet. Cause a woman to orgasm in a public place. 200 manipulation points have been added to your status. Task complete no more. Cause a woman to come multiple times in a single hour. 250 manipulation points have been added to your status. Task complete, stealthy fingers. Finger a woman in a public place. 200 manipulation points have been added to your status. Thank you, Jenny, your suffering was not in vain," Dean thought as he went to inspect his status. Dean Fool, age 24, manipulation points, 1600, quests, competed, 1, money, $300, mines, altered, 4. 1600 points, huh? I can definitely do a lot with that. I might even be able to enact my plan to gain more clients, Dean thought, anticipating his grand plan. "I sure hope it's entertaining," Lisa said, still curious to what Dean had in mind. "We shall see," he replied. Looking over at the now passed-out Jenny, he sighed and thought, "Never in a million's years did I think my first date with my girlfriend would end like this. Thank you, common sense manipulation system." Sometime later, the movie finally ended, and Dean had to wake up Jenny. Babe, babe! Dean shouted as he shook Jenny, awaking her from her slumber. Looking up in confusion, it took her a minute to realize where she was and what was going on. But please don't do that again, the silver-haired beauty said while fixing her ruffled clothes. Smiling, Dean spoke. No promises, but now we have to go. Can you walk? Jenny said while trying to stand. However, whenever she tried, her legs would get all wobbly and give out. No. That's okay, come here, Dean said while letting Jenny climb onto his back, piggyback style. Like this, the couple exited the theater and headed to leave the building. As they were leaving, Dean spotted a pair of 3D glasses, grabbed them, and stuffed them in his pocket. I'll use these later, he thought, envisioning his plan. Back at the apartment complex, Dean was carrying a passed-out Jenny up the stairs. Sweating, he struggled up the steps one at a time, keeping a firm grasp on Jenny. This is so hard. This wouldn't be so bad if you actually worked out instead of sexually harassing women at the gym, Lisa commented. Yeah, I know. I'll do something about that later, he thought as he arrived at his apartment and entered. Placing Jenny down on his bed gently, Dean collapsed next to her before falling into a deep sleep. He is so hot, Jenny thought as she gazed at a sleeping Dean. She didn't always think so, but after yesterday, she suddenly thought he was the most attractive person in the world. I guess that just confirms my love for him, she thought as she planted a kiss on his forehead. Waking up, Dean stared into Jenny's light purple eyes, still wondering if he was dreaming. Reaching his hand out, he grasped one of her tits, causing a light chuckle to release from the big-breasted beauty. You aren't sleeping anymore, Dean, she said while leaning in to kiss him. Pressing their lips together for a moment, Dean's mind suddenly became clear. So good. What did I do to deserve her? After she pulled away, Dean got up and spoke. Well, good morning to you too. I'm sorry to cut this short, but I have to get to work. I forgot to tell you, but I have a job at the gym now. Frowning, Jenny nodded and spoke. I also have to get to work, but I didn't just want to leave without saying goodbye. Oh, and congrats on the job. After some more small talk, the couple broke off, with Jenny going back to her apartment and Dean heading downstairs into the gym. Good morning, Olivia, Dean said as he waved to the young woman sitting at the reception desk. Morning, instructor. I'm afraid your only client is still Mia, and she is currently waiting in the yoga room for your arrival, Olivia informed. Ah, thank you, Dean said as he headed to his room. Entering, he saw Mia waiting patiently on her mat, while in the process of tying her hair up in a ponytail. Good morning, Mia. Are you ready to get started? Standing up a little flustered, Mia responded, Yes, instructor. Snap. Then let's begin. I'd like to start off today by once again checking the condition of your vaginal muscles, just to be sure you don't injure anything, Dean said. You are an expert at spouting bullshit, I'll give you that, fool, said Lisa. With a look of concern, Mia quickly took off her leggings and sat down while spreading her legs. Please make sure that I'm okay, instructor. Of course, Dean said as he crouched down and began inspecting her pussy. Tapping into his best acting skills, Dean put on a worrisome look. It seems to have gotten worse. I'll need to inspect further, he said, inserting his fingers deep into Mia's pussy. She moaned out but tried to keep her voice in. After playing with her a bit, Dean removed his fingers and sat back with a contemplative expression. Noticing his gaze, Mia asked with worry, What is it? Don't tell me it's worse than you thought. Sigh. Well, good news is, I think it's treatable. Bad news is, I need to reach deeper into your vagina. Dean bullshitted. With a relieved look, Mia said, That's great. But what do you need to do? I need to use my penis to reach deeper inside. I know it may sound odd, but I've encountered this specific condition before and found this method almost always cures it. However, if you are uncomfortable with it, I will refer you to a doctor. But I must warn you, that will be very expensive. Whereas my treatment is free, Dean said while wearing his best mask of kindness. Thinking for a moment, Mia steeled herself and spoke. I'll let you do it, instructor. I trust that you can cure me. Wonderful. Now please turn around and get on your hands and knees. I have found doggy style to be very effective in treating this condition, Dean said while taking out his erect penis. I can't believe the shit you come up with, Lisa said whilst Dean approached Mia's pussy. Arriving at the entrance to Mia's vagina, Dean gave one last warning. I'm going to enter you now. Try to hold on your moans. With that, he stuck his duck inside her, causing cute sounds to escape her mouth. Grasping her ass, Dean began to thrust himself in and out, making his dick drown in pleasure. Fuck, she feels different than Jenny, he observed. Mia moaned out. This treatment feels so good, she thought, as love juices started spilling from her hole. Smack. Dean began smacking her ass as he penetrated her, hoping that the changes he made to her mind would allow him to do so unimpeded. Thankfully, she seemed to be preoccupied with moaning and didn't pay any attention to Dean's smacks. Great, he thought, as his dick made squelching sounds when pounding her pussy. Putting his hands on her hips, Dean began to thrust harder, causing louder and louder moans to release from Mia. I am coming, Mia moaned out, digging her nails into the mat. However, even though Mia was going through an intense orgasm, Dean didn't stop as he wasn't close yet. Keep holding on, Mia, the treatment is almost finished, he said while grabbing Mia's ponytail to keep her from falling. Speeding up, Dean prioritized his own pleasure instead of Mia's sanity. With every thrust, she was shaking in a constant state of immense pleasure. I'm gonna go crazy, she thought with a face of ecstasy, not minding Dean's rough treatment of her. Dean felt himself about to come and sped up, but right before he came, he pulled out and shot his seed all over Mia's back. Fuck, he cursed as he closed his eyes. Breath. Through bated breaths, he sat back, leaving Mia to collapse onto the yoga mat. After a moment to gather himself, he spoke. The treatment is over. You should be cured now, but I will check again during our next session just in case. Struggling to speak, Mia squealed out, Thank you, instructor. I hope I'm okay now. This will conclude our session for today. Get cleaned up before you leave. I have other matters to attend to, Dean said before getting up to clean himself off and leave. After entering the bathroom, he saw a familiar pink and blue screen appear in front of him. Task complete doggy style. Have sex with someone in the doggy style position. 200 manipulation points have been added to your status. Only one achievement? I thought pulling her hair would give me one too. Well, I guess it's better than nothing, Dean thought as he cleaned his dick off. After cleaning up, Dean found himself sitting on a workout bench outside of the communal bathhouse. He was currently tossing a pair of 3D glasses in his hand while speaking with Lisa. So, what did you have in mind? Lisa asked, curious about Dean's plan. Sigh. Well, I was thinking of using a few conditions in my common sense manipulation to become basically invisible. Then after that, use some kind of ability to have the hottest women in the room become my clients, Dean said. Not a bad idea, but it's going to be very expensive. The conditions you use to lower the cost must be pretty restrictive, Lisa advised. Yeah, I know, I'm just ironing out the details right now, Dean said while thinking of how to manipulate common sense. All right, I got it, Dean thought before he tried to use the ability. Whenever I'm wearing these glasses, it is normal for people to not acknowledge or perceive my presence for 1 hour during the daytime. Ding. Hearing the change's success, he quickly checked on his points. Manipulation points 1350, only 450, not bad, he thought before attempting to change common sense once more. 4 times per week, whenever I whisper a command in someone's ear, they will subconsciously obey it. Ding. Smiling, Dean checked his stats once more, only for his expression to turn into a frown. Manipulation points, 0. That cost all of my points? What the hell? Dean exclaimed. He didn't intend for it to be that expensive. Well, fool, you are basically giving yourself 4 free changes to someone's common sense every week. Even if it can't be used too often, you should be surprised that it only costs that much, Lisa said, annoyed at Dean's stupidity. "Oh, when you put it like that, it makes sense. Still, I didn't plan for that, but I guess I can still work with this," he thought as he put on the 3D glasses. "You look stupid with those on," Lisa commented. "It's a good thing then that you are the only one who can see me," Dean replied as he pushed open the door to the bathhouse. What lay behind the door was a vast open room. Small pools could be seen here and there, filled with naked women. There were also small seats positioned in front of mirrors, letting women tend to their looks and chat with one another. Shower heads lined some of the walls, letting occupants wash off before they leave. Steam covered most of the floor, giving the bathhouse a warm, comforting feeling. "This is," Dean thought as he laid eyes upon all the naked women. It wasn't an overstatement to say that the gym got most of its members due to this bathhouse. He didn't even realize just how many people use this place. So many options, he thought, browsing his selection of bodies. Dean's plan was relatively simple. Using the glasses, he would move undetected through the room and search for the hottest women. Once found, he would whisper a command in their ear to sign up for his yoga sessions. This would not only earn him more money, but allow him to prey on even more sexy females. Rubbing his hands together with anticipation, Dean started walking around. "Thank you, ability with this. I can gain so many more points." Don't be shy. That little subscribe button is your exclusive invitation.